Hi guys, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Pieter-Louis.
Welcome to our podcast, Legend and Lore, a world tour, The Black Eyed Kids, Part 2.
The creepiness.
Uh, Yay. Okay, so last week we ended with I want to do a lost story about a couple who encountered the black eyed kids. So let's start with them. A couple was asleep when the wife heard a knock at the door. It was pitch black outside. She woke her husband and told him someone was knocking. Half asleep, he went to check. Standing at the door were two children, a boy and a girl, both around 8-year-old, with dark hair. They looked down and they were silent. The husband, unsettled, asked if they had been in an accident. They only nodded. He asked if their parents were nearby, and the children simply replied, "They're coming to get us." Almost in a trance, he invited them inside. The couple had 4 cats. 3 hid immediately, while the 4th hissed aggressively, something it had never done before. His wife, unnerved, took the cat away and went to make hot chocolate for the kids. When she returned, her husband was hunched over, holding his head. For the first time, the kids looked up and she sees their eyes. They were completely black. Before she could react, her husband's nose starts bleeding and the power in the house went out. I would so swill myself out right here. Anyway, she stumbled through the darkness, searching for something to stop the bleeding. When she returned, the children stood at the end of the hallway. "Our parents are here," they said. Outside, a black SUV waited. 2 men, darkly dressed, stood next to it. The children left, and half an hour later, the power returned. After that, weird things continued to happen. The 3 cats that hid from the black-eyed children disappeared. They just vanished. The 4th cat was discovered dead one day, lying on the floor in a pool of its own blood. That would just completely creep me out. Her husband kept having nosebleeds and she started having dizzy spells and nosebleeds. Her husband was later even diagnosed with an aggressive skin cancer. The moral of the story? Don't let random kids into your house. Just don't.
What do you think?
So, something that's interesting to me, some of the people's accounts say that the children were looking down the entire time. Others say their eyes look normal and then after their eyes turned black, almost like the people were in a trance. And when they started losing their powers over them, they could not hide the black eyes anymore. So that's one thing that truly interests me, because if you listen to all that, there was really a lot of stories. I just covered a few. But there's literally some where it sounds like their eyes are normal, and within time, it's like all of a sudden their eyes are black.
But would you let 2 kids in the middle of the night? Let's say if you can walk up to our front door, I would probably let them in at midnight.
I live in South Africa now.
Well, no.
One of the first things we learn here is they try to use kids to hijack you.
Okay, let's go to a country that's more normal.
I'm from South Africa, no.
Let's go to a small town in our country. We would let children in.
I would probably
And
go
we've
to...
done it before.
No, I've never let kids randomly
Well, my
into
parents
my
have done
house.
it.
Yeah, I can see your parents doing it, yes.
It's like, oh, I lost my parents. Can I please
I'd
wait
probably
inside? And we
go
did that.
onto the WhatsApp group and say, listen, I have 2 kids outside of our community WhatsApp group, and say, I have 2 kids outside of my house saying they need help. Can somebody please send a security company to sort them out or to help them out? Or I would say, can somebody send the police so they can come and collect these kids and help them get home, and tell the kids, listen, just give it a while. They'll be here right now. There's no way I'm letting them in. After this, there's no way I'm letting any kids. If my kids are outside at 12 at night, I'm not letting them in.
But really interesting here is the SUV that stopped. Is someone came to fetch the children?
It's not the first one. There's more than one accounts where there's a black SUV outside with 2 dark men. So I don't mean like black men. I mean they're in dark suits and stuff. So I don't know what color they were, but they're in dark suits and then it also looks like their eyes are black.
Okay, now it's just this story can actually be passed off as it could happen again. It could be normal. It could be the guy's nosebleed and skin cancer goes together. The cat's dying. Maybe the reason everybody got sick is there is something wrong with the house. Maybe there's a gas leak or some sort of mold in the house, which is fine. So maybe there were two children, they were lost, and they knew their parents
With
were coming.
creepy
And
black eyes and just randomly. There's too many stories.
it's always the
that
black
have
eyes
the
that
same.
get you, but
Why is every time they let it in? Because every single story you look at where they let them in, it's just bad things happening. So why would it always be? There would be stories of kids coming in and all of a sudden everything bad happens. It would travel. You'd know about it. It's always just about these kids with the black eyes. It's creepy.
no, it's definitely
Don't.
creepy and
Don't.
it's got me thinking about a lot. It's just, again, I'm going to try and explain it away because how else would you solve life if you don't have someone like me? You're looking at the hole inside the donut. But it's like the whole broken finger thing. If I break my finger and I poke my shoulder, it's going to hurt. And it's not my shoulder, it's my finger. So I'm going to poke my knee, it's going to still be my finger, not my knee. So if you find something wrong, if something creeped you out, for the next months, you're going to blame it on one thing. It might just be normal. Stuff happens. People do get...
No,
People get skin cancer. People get nosebleeds. Cats do die.
Yes, but after every single sighting where they were let in, something bad happened. That is not normal. That is not you just breaking a finger.
Was there anything about a foul smell in this one? Did the
There
kids
are
smell
other accounts. So no, not on this one, but there are different accounts where people actually say there was this weird odor or smell after they left. So there are other different accounts, but I didn't add another one here. But okay. On the podcast Astonishing Legends, they also discussed the Iroquois, so it's Indians. Iroquois Indians believed in Odgon. So I did try to find out more information on them, but honestly I could not find a website that was mentioned or anything else. So I'm just going on a quick summary of what was said by Astonishing Legends. So Odgon is a negative energy that possesses and destroys. The Mohawks from the Mohawk Valley believed strongly in the existence of witchcraft and those that wielded the negative power of Odgon. They were said to be influenced by the evil one. This dark archetype was a Satan-like being who took the form of a reptilian snake man. It was said that he tried to mate with unknowing tribal women to try and manifest himself in human form. The offspring from this union was a possessed infant with black eyes and chalky white skin that was normally killed at birth and burned to avoid resurrection. Unlucky Iroquois children who got lost or was alone in the woods were easily targeted for the evil one that projected Odgon onto them. The children would return to the tribe with black eyes that replaced their once normal eyes, their humanity erased. The evil one had stolen their Horinda, that which is good, and replaced it with Odgon, making them his royal servants. They did the evil one's bidding and infected other children. The kids acted strangely, repeating themselves frequently and pacing around nervously. They created havoc within the tribe as their goal was to destroy it with the Odgon. They were said to be ferocious, mean, with a taste for human flesh. There is a picture that I could not find when I tried to search for it, of an archaeological find that was discovered by Andrew J. Davis Jr. It was discovered in 1914 in Mohawk, New York. It is a piece of Mohawk art painted on a buffalo skin from around the 1500s. On the buffalo skin, it was depicted a young man who has two snakes coming out of either side of him that represents Odgon. The most notable part, however, is that the man had black eyes. If this is true, this suggests black-eyed kid legend dates back centuries before the internet even. Then there is Scandinavian folklore tales about
I just want to jump back to the Indian
Odgon.
Odgon. That does sound a lot. Do you know what the missing 411 is?
No.
So, throughout the world, and most, I think largely in America, people that went missing very mysteriously, especially children, if I don't believe, but people in general, but a lot of more children, and then them reappearing. What I feel is I feel a connection here between those two. If it, maybe the black-eyed children and this Odgon might be the same thing as a missing 411. Missing children that went missing in the woods, in the forests of America, which they say the woods, and then reappearing. That
Yes,
does
but
happen, and strange, like
they don't
strange
have weird
ways.
black eyes.
Yes, but maybe they do, maybe they did. A lot of these children don't come back in the missing 411s. But I feel like it might be a little connection there somewhere happening with the missing and coming back and then having black eyes. Or, and like you said, the black eyes.
I think it
Come
would
and
have
go.
been highly reported, and it would have been a bigger story if they came back with black eyes. So no, I hear what you're saying, but no, I don't think so, because it would definitely don't let your kids go near the woods. The woods are haunted or whatever. That people would freak out. No, I don't think that's
Okay, well, let's go Scandinavia.
okay. So the tale there is about mealings. The mealing comes into existence when a child is unwanted and then killed by its mother. It can be heard singing in the night.
That's really, really creepy.
Yes.
Just, can you hear this?
How was that the first creepy thing for you?
There you go. La, 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 la.
I'm literally sitting here thinking I'm not sleeping tonight, and this is the first time you're creeped out. But anyway, it can be heard singing in the night, revealing the mother's crime. Deprived of a name and a proper burial, the mealing seeks revenge. Seeks revenge. Mealing means both a murdered small child and a small child that murders.
Well, luckily, they had a word that does both. Imagine if they had to give it two names.
So the mealing are said to chase lone wanderers at night and jump on their backs, asking for a ride that you cannot refuse. So I don't think that's asking, but anyway. The man to be carried to the graveyard so they can rest in hollow grounds. Mealings are thought to be enormous and apparently grow heavier as they near the graveyard, to the point where the person carrying one, they could actually sink into the soil. If you could not make it into the graveyard, the mealing kills the victim in rage.
I can make a movie of this. This is interesting.
I wonder if there isn't one, but it's freaking creepy. So basically, this huge thing jumps on your back that's supposed to be a kid, and they want to be buried.
What's hollow ground mean again? Hollow ground means holy ground.
Well, basically, it's just a graveyard. They want to be buried.
Hollowed ground.
Yes, so they want to be buried in the graveyard. Buried in the graveyard. That's basically what it comes down to.
Hollowed means it's a holy ground. I'm just trying to think, why would they want to go to a holy ground?
No, I don't think it's the holy ground, because the more I read about it, they say they want to be buried with the family, basically. So they want their rightful place.
So I'm Googling hollowed. Just, it makes the story very much more interesting in hollowed. I'm going to find it anyway.
Okay, so in some cases, the mealing, if you find something you can say, if in some cases the mealing will also ask permission for things. For example, one of the tales, the mealing asked his grandpa if he could breastfeed. So he appeared to his grandfather and asked, I want to breastfeed. And after some time, the grandpa agrees, after some time of nagging and so on, and says if he has someone to breastfeed from, then fine, he can go. Just don't breastfeed from him. When the man got home later, he found his daughter in bed. She was deceased and there was blood flowing from her breast.
So the mealing wanted to breastfeed off a man.
He asked to breastfeed. I'm not sure if he actually meant that he wanted to breastfeed from his mother, which was obviously this man's daughter, or if he wanted to breastfeed from a man.
And
So-
where does the mealing come in? Was the mealing something of him?
Yes, it's his grandpa. So
His
he
grandpa.
appeared to his grandfather. It says he appeared to his grandfather and said, "I want to breastfeed. Please, I want to breastfeed."
And so,
So
now
I'm-
his mother is dead. In theory.
Yes, so basically he did not know, the grandfather did not know this was his grandchild.
Yeah.
So he just had this kid that wanted, I want to breastfeed, I want to breastfeed. And he's like, eventually, okay, fine, go breastfeed. You're just not allowed to breastfeed from me. Not realizing he gave permission that he can breastfeed from his daughter, which is the kid's mother. And therefore, the mealing went to breastfeed and then drained her of all life. So this can also go vampire vibes, so on, but basically he breastfed and drained her life.
I've got so many things. I'm a picture kind of person.
So ways to help a mealing is to give it a name or to find its corpse and bury it in holy soil. So it is actually holy soil, you're right. So the longer a mealing is left to roam the earth without proper burial, the older it slowly gets.
It feels like we can do like a whole section of mealings and what was the other one? The American one? The Otcon. It feels like this can be days and days on its own.
I struggle to get anything on the Oddcon now,
Is it?
please. Unless anybody has information there where I can find more, then I'll happily make a fandom one about it, but I struggled
Because
so
the
much.
mealing feels more like the what was the vampire one we did, the
Strigoi.
Strigoi or Strigoi.
Strigoi.
The Strigoi, where it can be a lot of things, and it is a lot of things. So it went from a random child jumping on your back to it is my grandchild killing my daughter.
Yes, it can. It literally just goes to kill its family. It does not. Well,
Oh,
taking
so it
its
will
mother,
jump
it
on-
won't. Well, it will jump on somebody else's back.
So
Sorry.
it's already deceased child from this family. So if
Yes,
a
so
child
the
died-
baby
but that's
you
Strigoi.
killed.
Yeah, that's Strigoi. That's exactly the story of Strigoi. And this is Scandinavia, so it might get closer to Romania, might not.
Yeah, but yes, but this one is basically, like I say, it's normally in woods. You have to find its body. You don't have to stake it or something like that. You have to find its body and bury it in holy ground. So they don't want you to stake it. They don't want you to cut off its head or something like that. It just wants to either have a name, so you need to give it a name. So because it feels rejected, obviously, and thrown away, or it wants to be buried in holy ground. So mealings look like children. They are described as slender with hollow eyes. So I don't really understand the part where they say they're very heavy and so on. I don't know if it's you can see they're heavy or if they just feel heavy. Astonishing legends stated that they believe mealings predate Christianity, but they could not find a date confirming that. So this is how far back black-eyed kids go.
Oh, mealings and black-eyed kids.
They think it's the same thing. That it's theories. So there's small similarities here, but I have to agree I'm not 100% on this one. Black-eyed kids have black eyes. Mealing have hollow eyes. So I guess they could look black, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah, I think that is a different kind of creepy. That is a sure that hollow eyes.
So black-eyed kids normally ask for things, mainly to get into your house or car, where mealings jumps on your back and asks you to take them somewhere to
To a
bury
graveyard.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
What if they were no? Obviously, if they were cremated, there wouldn't be a mealing.
well, you never
But
know. If you burn the
were
body,
asked to be taken to hollowed ground. That means they want you to take them back to their body.
no, they want you to find their body. So basically, if you give them a name, they're happy. I don't know if they can just go to rest it. It sounds like they're fine then. Or otherwise, you have to literally go bury them. But you can't just bury them. You have to physically find their body, which is a lot more difficult because obviously they put in they buried in forest because the mother didn't want them, or they hid under floorboards in a house. So it's not exactly easy if you don't know where this kid is from.
But this kind of makes me feel happy for the kid that bit off his mother's parts because she killed him, obviously, so that she would drink and kill him. Anyway, sorry, just thinking out loud here.
No, I don't feel happy about that.
There's good things
just
to it and
shouldn't
bad
have
things to it,
happened.
and a little bit of a revenge vibes. Maybe it was the grandfather.
How would he bite it? That's just
Not
gross.
bite, just cut off. A lot of people do.
It wasn't
It's a
cut
thing.
off. There were bite marks and blood.
Well, just blood, but
Just no. Anyway,
it can go
let's
both. It
move
can go
on.
all the
The
directions.
last one we are going to look at today is from Chinese religion. They are called hungry ghosts. I honestly do not see any similarities, but we'll leave it up to you to decide. So, rooted in Asian culture, if someone dies a violent death or unhappy death, a hungry ghost will arise. A festival called the Hungry Ghost Festival is held in honor of hungry ancestor ghosts, and food and drink is put out to satisfy their needs. The Hungry Ghost Festival is celebrated during the 7th month of the Chinese calendar.
Obviously, they have a month for that.
It also falls at the same time as the full moon.
Oh, of course, it has to be the full
The
moon.
new season, the full harvest, the peak of monistic asceticism. Sorry, guys, no idea what it is. The rebirth of ancestors and the assembly of the local community. According to their tradition, during this month, the gates of hell are opens up and the hungry ghosts are free to roam the earth, where they seek for food and entertainment to fill their need, and they are never truly satisfied. I think the connection they're trying to make here is to drain their life force or to satisfy the needs, so it doesn't really work here.
It does feel like something that I read, or maybe a video that I watched about. It might have been Japan, or it could have been China. Obviously, it's not close together, but in the Asian culture of the woods, also a story about someone disappearing in the woods. I do get this feeling of the same as the hungry ghost in the woods.
Every single country that has woods has some sort of folklore
Yeah, but
about
this was one
it.
specific one. You weren't allowed to walk through this wood area alone at night. If you went alone, you wouldn't come out.
Jeez, because you'd get lost.
And they
die.
I believe they blamed hungry ghosts for this. But I did not realize this was specifically to a month.
Actually, yes, there is literally, like, apparently they don't go swimming when the hungry ghosts are out. They don't go anywhere far because they will attack you and kill you. So, no, there is an actual thing that they're not allowed. They basically they just do their festival and stay as close to home as possible because they will attack you.
Interesting.
So they
there-
literally
there is
don't go
something else,
swimming.
yeah. I said something else. Because that, again, I think we can make a 4-episode thing about the hungry ghost thing. Sightings and stuff.
Yeah, I guess I can
Because
get more
obviously
information.
it's a religion. It's there. It's back to the Strigoi again. People believe it. It's a religious tradition.
Yes, they do have an actual festival for it. Not
But not to stab at the Asian cultures, but they do have festivals for everything.
Well, if it keeps them safe, why not? Okay, so back to the black-eyed kids. What are they? Are they ghosts, demons, aliens? Let's go through some of the most common theories. So firstly, the one that you keep on hammering on, the vampire theory.
Yeah, I'm going there.
Classic folklore says vampires can't enter your home unless invited. The black-eyed kids, same rule applies. They always ask permission but never force their way in. Those who claim to have let them in is often reported feeling sick, having disturbing nightmares, or even suffering from unexplained bad luck afterwards. Could it be a strigoi, like in episode 2 of our podcast, draining the life out of them?
But also, like I said, it has the influence skill. It has the, well, not the foul smell, but there's an influence skill to that. And a lot of it does go vampire. A lot of it is in the vampire vibes.
Yes, but normally vampires have normal eyes, but it could be a sort of
How
vampire.
many vampires have you seen today?
There's
Exactly.
never been a report of their eyes being weird.
It could
Anyway, another theory. They're extraterrestrial. Some believe the black-eyed kids are actually alien-human hybrids, possibly
Of course
part.
it's all aliens.
that I have to say aliens work more for me because of how it works. But it's possibly part of an alien experiment. Eggs harvested from women who were abducted, and their children are the result. And these black eyes are a genetic trait. Their unnatural speech patterns and eerie behavior, signs that they're not quite human. The big question, what do they want? Are they coming back to look for their mothers? Why do they want to get in? Are they trying to find out more about us?
Why would it be aliens? Why would there be children?
The alien makes so much more sense.
We don't see aliens anywhere else
They,
in the world.
they talk
And now there has to be aliens.
How do you know we don't see any other aliens?
Because if you were an alien, you would have made yourself noticeable.
No.
I'm an alien.
Why?
I'm better. If I have got the ability to turn children's eyes black and steal eggs from harvested
It's not
from women.
ability. I don't think they physically want to, because otherwise they wouldn't try and hide their eyes.
How do you believe in aliens
They
all
want
of a sudden?
to fit.
This is new to me. It's
aliens
a revelation.
Always.
Now I have to go talk to someone now.
Space is so freaking big with so many places to go. Do you want to say we're the only living thing? There's no way.
And then they travel all this way just to steal a woman's eggs and turn their kids' eyes black.
No, that's the thing. We don't know what they want. You don't know what they want. Why do they want to get in?
So you're saying aliens are parasites?
No, I'm saying why do they want to get in? What do they want? They're trying to look like us so they can get what they want. But they're struggling to hide their eyes. It's the one thing they can't get right. It's the one thing they can't get to look at us. So they have this influence over us, but once they lose the influence, you see their eyes. And then the thing is, they go in and you start feeling bad and you get sick and so on. Do they take something from you? Are you in a trance in your house and you miss or lose a big part of what they're doing to you, and then all of a sudden you're sick? Maybe they took something, some of your life force. I don't know, did an autopsy on you or something and then let you go. I don't know.
No, let's not.
This is definitely my most...
I'm not doing the alien thing.
I'm pro-alien. But then again, they're freaking creepy, so I'm pro-nothing. Okay, so then lastly, there's demons. Are the demons sent to torment humans? Seeking an invitation to cross your threshold.
I think that's also very more suitable, more plausible in historic eras of what it can be. It can be demon, if you're looking at what demon is. But again, in theory, a vampire is a demon as well. Historically,
yes.
The vampire was derived from the demon.
Okay, so that was technically is the last. Okay, no, this is lastly. There's the possibility that there's nothing more than an urban legend. A creepy story that's taken on a life of its own, and I prefer that one. I'm going with that. It's just a creepy story spread across the entire world apparently, because there's so many freaking sightings.
So many websites.
So many sightings. I could not actually talk about all of them all over the world. From people who saw them, people who let them in. It's just, no. I'm going with it's made up. But anyway, here's the thing. The stories were popping up before the internet became what it is today. People with no connections from all over describe eerie similar experiences.
That's what I said about the 70s and the 70s and 80s. It was before media. So that makes this more believable. Before, my favorite word, hysteria. People didn't make this up, and there's repetition.
They tried to make it hysteria, but because of the internet, so many people could share their accounts. It's freaking creepy. And the big question stays, what do they want? The black-eyed kids normally ask and later demand to come in. They ask to use the telephone, normally a landline, so they're not asking you for a cell phone because they want to get in. Which is funny because today's day, very few people have landlines, so I doubt they'll get in. But anyway, sometimes they request a ride to somewhere. They normally want to invade your space, but cannot do it without your permission. And most chillingly, those who let them in often suffer dire consequences because of it. So what do you think? Have you ever had a strange encounter? Have you ever seen a black-eyed kid? And then most important question, did you let them in? That's it for today's episode of Legend and Law, a World Tour.
If you enjoy diving down this rabbit hole in the world of weird with us, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share your own thoughts. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for more content.
Until next time, stay curious and keep your doors locked. Bye.
Bye.